For 41 years he sat behind a brass scale in the busiest harbor east of the monsoon line. Not a single coin passed through his hands without being measured, recorded, assigned a destination. He was, by every standard, a master of money. But the man sitting on that cold stone floor, surrounded by 17 labeled jars of grain, had not eaten in 3 days. Not because he lacked food, because he had forgotten why eating mattered. At 26, he was just Kim, a dock worker who drank half his wages before moonrise. One night a merchant tossed him an extra silver coin and said something offhand. A coin without a home wanders until it dies. Kim never slept that night. He gave that coin a name, called it the beginning. Within a year he rented a stall. By 35 he ran a respected trading operation, and his method was obsessive. Every coin had a jar. Dock fees, monsoon reserves, workers' meals, daughter's education, temple offerings. Nothing leaked, nothing wandered. The system was beautiful, airtight. He solved the problem that breaks most people. But here is the thing nobody talks about. The same hand that builds a perfect dam can strangle a river to death. By 50, Kim had not made a single spontaneous decision in a decade. His daughter asked him to visit. He calculated travel cost, lost revenue, theft risk, and declined. Then the ferryman arrived. Young, maybe 23, sun-cracked lips, a boat that survived 3 monsoons past its last prayer. He ferried people for whatever they offered. A coin, a mango. Once, a story. He laughed and rowed the woman across like she paid in gold. No fixed price, no ledger, no jars. And yet he never went hungry. People brought him food. Fishermen left catch on his bow. One evening he walked to the dock and asked, "How do you survive without a system?" The ferryman looked up, almost amused. "Who says I do not have one? You charge no price, keep no records, save nothing." The ferryman sat on the dock's edge, feet over black water. "You see no jars, so you assume no system. But my system breathes. Yours holds its breath until it passes out." The ferryman spoke again, voice different now, carrying a weight that did not belong to a 23-year-old. "You learned a coin without a name disappears. True, but you missed the second half. A life where everything is named has no room left for what cannot be named. And the things that cannot be named," he gestured at the water, the gathering clouds, a distant window where someone was laughing inside a house they probably could not afford. He reached into his coat, pulled out a handful of coins, unnamed, unassigned, belonging to no jar, and held them in his open palm under a sky that smelled like rain. He did not count them. His hand trembled, and a question formed beneath his ribs, deeper than habit, deeper than 41 years of control. The next morning he found the ferryman sitting cross-legged on the dock, patching his boat with tree resin and humming something tuneless. Kim sat down beside him without invitation. The ferryman did not look up. They sat in silence for a long time. Then Kim said, "I want to open every jar." The ferryman stopped humming. "Why? Because you showed me they are prisons." The ferryman put down the resin, wiped his hands on his knees, and for the first time looked at the weigher without amusement. His eyes were hard. "I showed you nothing. You saw what you wanted to see. A man without jars who seemed free." Kim went home that afternoon and sat in his jar room. 17 jars, 41 years of naming, sorting, controlling. He bought a burial cloth. The finest one the fabric merchant carried, ivory linen with blue thread at the edges. He brought it to the ferryman at dusk and set it on the dock without explanation. The ferryman stared at it. His mouth opened, closed. He picked up the cloth and pressed it to his face and made a sound that was not crying and not laughing, but something older than both. And here is the part that got me. Kim did not feel free. He did not feel transformed. He felt the specific ache of a man who just spent money from a jar that had a different name. Money meant for avoiding his daughter. On a burial cloth for a stranger's father who died because his son refused to keep jars. The irony was so thick he could taste it. The ferryman looked up, eyes red, and said the last thing Kim expected. "You should not have done that." "Why not?" "Because now I owe you. And owing is the first jar." They stared at each other. Two men standing on opposite ends of the same mistake. One who held everything so tight it turned to stone. One who released everything so completely it dissolved. And neither had gotten it right. That night Kim did something he had never done. He took one jar, just one, the smallest, the one labeled personal, and he removed the label. He did not empty it. He did not fill it. He just peeled the name away and left the jar sitting on his shelf, open, unnamed, purposeless. A jar that could become anything or nothing. and he wrote a letter to his daughter, not with coins inside, just words. I am coming to visit. I do not know when. I have not calculated the cost. I am afraid of that, and I am coming anyway. He did not send it that night. He held it the way he had held the unnamed coins, trembling, uncertain, caught between the architecture of control and the terrifying sky of release. The Buddha taught a concept the monks called upadana, clinging, not just to money or possessions, but to identity itself. The wayer clung to his system until the system became his self. The ferryman clung to freedom until freedom became its own kind of chain. Kim never became the ferryman. The ferryman never became Kim. And that is the point. Kim kept 16 labeled jars and one without a name. He visited his daughter. It cost more than he planned, and he did not calculate the loss. The ferryman accepted the burial cloth, rowed back to his father's village, buried the debt he carried in his chest, and returned to the harbor. He still charged no fixed price, but he started keeping one small jar on his boat, unlabeled, just in case. Neither man was whole. Neither man was healed. But both men were awake. And honestly, that might be enough. The question I want to leave you with is this, and I am not asking it to sound wise. I am asking because it kept me up last night and I still do not have an answer. Are you naming your jars because the names serve your life, or because the names have replaced your life? The story ends here, but the question does not. If this made you pause, even for a moment, you belong here. Subscribe to the Mind of Buddha.